The lights are already changing, the crowd at MetLife Stadium is getting louder, and Bruno Mars' The Romantic Tour has entered another massive night in East Rutherford. Day 46 is officially underway, and this time, the energy inside the stadium is being amplified by a special guest whose presence has instantly changed the atmosphere. RAYE is now on stage, opening the second Bruno Mars show at MetLife Stadium. And if you think this is just another opening performance before Bruno Mars arrives, stay with us, because tonight has all the ingredients of a major moment on the Romantic Tour. If you are following Bruno Mars, the Romantic Tour, RAYE, MetLife Stadium, live music, concert updates, and everything happening around this massive 2026 tour, make sure you stay with us and join the conversation. Tell us where you are watching from, and if you are a Bruno Mars fan, hit that like button because tonight is already building towards something special. Right now, the story begins with RAYE. The British singer and songwriter has stepped onto the MetLife Stadium stage as the opener and special guest for Bruno Mars' second show at the massive East Rutherford venue. The stadium atmosphere is already intense, but RAYE brings a completely different musical identity to the night. That contrast is important. Bruno Mars is known for transforming enormous stadiums into something that can feel surprisingly intimate. His performances combine pop, funk, soul, R&B, rock, choreography, live musicianship, and old-school showmanship. RAYE, meanwhile, brings a distinctive voice and a deeply expressive performance style that can shift the mood of an audience within seconds. So when the two worlds meet on the same concert night, the result is more than simply an opening act. It creates anticipation. And anticipation is exactly what is taking over MetLife Stadium right now. Picture the scene. Thousands of fans have already made their way into the venue. Phones are out. Screens are glowing across the stadium. Conversations are getting louder. Fans are watching the stage, waiting for every movement, every lighting change, every clue that could signal the next major moment. Then RAYE takes the stage. The reaction changes immediately. The audience knows that the main event is still coming, but this is the part of the night where the atmosphere begins to rise. The opening performance is not simply background music while fans wait for Bruno Mars. It is the first chapter of the concert experience. And tonight, that chapter belongs to RAYE. For longtime music fans, her appearance adds another layer to what is already one of the most talked about stops on Bruno Mars' current tour. The Romantic Tour has become a massive traveling production, and every new city creates its own story. Every stadium has its own personality. Every night develops its own rhythm. And every special guest can change the atmosphere in a completely different way. That is why Day 46 matters. This is not the first night Bruno Mars has performed at MetLife Stadium during this run. It is the second show at the East Rutherford venue, meaning the audience already knows what kind of scale they are about to experience. But knowing what is coming does not make the anticipation smaller. It makes it bigger. Because now fans know exactly what the stadium can sound like when thousands of people come together for Bruno Mars. And there is something different about the second night. The first show establishes the atmosphere. The second show carries the memory of what happened before. Fans arrive knowing that the stage has already been activated. They know the venue has already witnessed the opening moments. They know the lights can drop at any second. They know the countdown can begin. They know the roar that follows when Bruno Mars finally appears. And that knowledge creates tension. RAYE is currently helping build that tension from the stage. Her role tonight is especially interesting because she is not simply opening for an artist who happens to be performing at a stadium. She is opening a night that has already generated enormous anticipation around Bruno Mars and the Romantic Tour. For fans watching from home, the images coming from MetLife Stadium tell their own story. The crowd is filling the venue. The stage is becoming the center of attention. The energy is moving upward. And somewhere behind the scenes, the clock is moving closer to the moment everyone came to see. Bruno Mars. That name alone changes the temperature of the room. Because when Bruno Mars walks onto a stage, the performance does not simply begin. The entire stadium becomes part of the show. That is one of the reasons the Romantic Tour has attracted so much attention. Bruno has always had a rare ability to connect massive production with personal emotion. He can move from a high-energy dance moment to a soulful performance and then immediately bring thousands of people together through a familiar chorus. The result is a concert that feels bigger than a playlist. It becomes a journey. And tonight, that journey is beginning with RAYE. There is also a fascinating contrast between the anticipation surrounding the opener and the expectations surrounding Bruno Mars himself. When fans see RAYE on stage, they know the concert has started. But when Bruno Mars appears, they know the main chapter has arrived. That difference creates one of the strongest emotional transitions of the entire night. The lights go down. The crowd realizes what is happening. The conversations stop. The screaming begins. And then the stage comes alive. But before we reach that moment, there is still another layer to tonight's story. MetLife Stadium itself is an enormous part of the experience. Located in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the venue is one of the most recognizable stadium settings in the region. On a normal day, it is associated with major sporting events and enormous crowds. But when Bruno Mars arrives with the Romantic Tour, the building takes on a completely different identity. The stadium becomes a concert arena. The field becomes a sea of fans. The stands become walls of sound. And the stage becomes the focal point of everything. That is what makes these stadium shows so visually powerful. From the floor, fans can see the production surrounding them. From the upper levels, the scale becomes even more obvious. Thousands of people become part of the visual landscape, with phone screens, lights, movement, and reactions spreading throughout the venue. And now, with RAYE performing, the transformation is already complete. The concert has begun, but the biggest moment has not arrived yet. That is where the suspense comes in, because every Bruno Mars concert has a point where the atmosphere changes. There is a moment when fans stop wondering whether the show is about to begin and realize that it is actually happening. Tonight, that moment is getting closer. RAYE's performance is setting the tone. The audience is warming up. The stadium is getting louder. And the expectation surrounding Bruno Mars continues to rise. This is where the story becomes bigger than one performer. It becomes about the audience. Look around MetLife Stadium and you can imagine the different reasons people are here. Some fans have followed Bruno Mars for years. Some discovered his music through massive global hits. Some are longtime hooligans who have watched his career evolve from intimate venues to stadium-scale performances. Others may be attending their first Bruno Mars concert. But once the lights go down, all of those stories merge into one crowd. That is the magic of a stadium concert. Different people arrive with different memories. They leave with the same night. And tonight, RAYE is helping create the first part of that memory. There is another reason this moment deserves attention. The Romantic Tour is not simply about one song, one album, or one era of Bruno Mars' career. It represents the next chapter of an artist who has spent years building a reputation around live performance. His music has always been closely connected to performance culture. The songs are designed to move. They are designed to be sung. They are designed to create moments. And in a stadium, those qualities become amplified. A beat can travel across an entire venue. A chorus can become a collective voice. A dance sequence can become a visual spectacle. And a quiet, emotional performance can suddenly make a stadium feel strangely personal. That is why fans are watching every detail tonight. They are not just waiting for songs. They are waiting for moments. And this is where you should keep watching, because the most interesting part of tonight may not simply be the fact that RAYE is opening the show. It is what her appearance means for the transition into Bruno Mars. Think about the sequence. RAYE takes the stage. The audience responds. The opener establishes the mood. The performance continues. Time moves forward. Then eventually the stage begins to change. The atmosphere becomes different. The conversations become shorter. Fans start looking toward the main stage. People raise their phones. Somebody screams. Then another section of the stadium joins. Within seconds, the entire building can become a single wave of anticipation. That is the moment every Bruno Mars fan is waiting for. And it is coming. Tonight's second MetLife Stadium show is therefore a story of escalation. RAYE begins the night. The crowd carries the energy. The production builds the tension. And Bruno Mars becomes the payoff. That structure is part of what makes live music so powerful. You cannot simply skip ahead to the biggest moment without losing something. The anticipation is part of the performance. The waiting is part of the experience. The silence before the music starts can sometimes be just as powerful as the first note. And at MetLife Stadium tonight, that anticipation is already alive. RAYE's presence also gives fans another artist to celebrate before the main event. Her voice, her performance style, and her ability to command a stage give the opening portion of the night its own identity. That matters because a great concert should feel like an entire evening, not just a headline performance. The opening act establishes the first emotional connection. Then the main performer takes that energy and turns it into something much larger. Tonight, that transition is happening in one of the biggest stadium environments on the tour. And if you have been following the romantic tour from earlier stops, you already know how quickly a Bruno Mars show can transform. 1 minute, fans are waiting. The next minute, the entire venue is moving. One moment, the stage is dark. Then suddenly, the first notes arrive. The crowd screams. And Bruno Mars takes control. That is the payoff everyone is waiting for. But there is something else worth remembering. Every night on a major tour can become its own story. Set lists can create surprises. Guest appearances can change the atmosphere. Performances can develop their own energy. And fan reactions can turn a single moment into a viral memory. That is why tonight deserves to be watched closely. Not because we need to assume something unexpected will happen, but because live performances are unpredictable by nature. The safest prediction is that the audience will be ready. And based on the atmosphere already building inside MetLife Stadium, the fans are absolutely ready. RAYE is on stage. The second MetLife Stadium show is underway. The crowd is engaged, and Bruno Mars is still the name at the center of the night. For everyone watching this unfold, the question is no longer whether the concert has started. It has. The real question is how high the energy can climb before Bruno Mars appears. And that is the part of the night where every minute matters. As RAYE continues her performance, the stadium atmosphere becomes increasingly focused on what comes next. Fans begin mentally preparing for the transition. Some are checking their phones. Some are filming. Some are simply watching the stage. But almost everyone knows the same thing. The headline performance is approaching. This is the calm before the storm. And when that storm arrives, MetLife Stadium is going to have a very different sound. Imagine thousands of voices suddenly becoming one. Imagine the opening reaction when Bruno Mars finally steps into the spotlight. Imagine the first beat hitting the stadium. That is what the romantic tour has been building toward all night. And tonight, Day 46 has reached another major chapter. From the opening notes of RAYE to the eventual arrival of Bruno Mars, the evening is designed around one simple idea: anticipation. The audience waits. The music builds. The lights change. And eventually, the wait ends. For Bruno Mars fans, that moment carries a special emotional weight, because his concerts are not simply about hearing songs people already know. They are about seeing those songs transformed into live experiences. A familiar melody can suddenly feel different when thousands of people sing it together. A favorite performance can become a memory that lasts for years. And a stadium show can turn an ordinary night into something fans continue talking about long after the final note. That is the real power of the romantic tour. It turns music into an event. Tonight, East Rutherford is the setting. MetLife Stadium is the stage. RAYE is opening the story. And Bruno Mars is waiting at the center of the anticipation. The second show has begun. The crowd is ready. The lights are alive. The atmosphere is rising. And somewhere in that growing noise is the unmistakable feeling that the biggest moment of the night is getting closer. So, if you are following Bruno Mars' The Romantic Tour, Stay locked in, because Day 46 is only getting started. RAYE has officially helped ignite the second MetLife Stadium show, and now the countdown toward Bruno Mars continues. The next major transition will be the one everyone has been waiting for. The stage will shift. The energy will change. The crowd will explode. And Mr. Romantic will take over MetLife Stadium. That is the moment this entire night has been building toward. But for now, RAYE owns the stage. And she has one job tonight: make sure the audience is ready. Judging by the atmosphere at MetLife Stadium, the message is clear. The fans are ready. East Rutherford is ready. The romantic tour is moving forward. Day 46 is alive. And Bruno Mars is coming. If you are watching this unfold, let us know in the comments. Are you Team RAYE, Team Bruno Mars, or both? And what song are you hoping to hear tonight? Stay with us for more updates from the romantic tour, more Bruno Mars news, more concert moments, and more of the biggest stories surrounding one of the most anticipated live shows of 2026. The night is not over. It is only getting started. And if the energy inside MetLife Stadium is any indication, the biggest roar of Day 46 may still be waiting. Bruno Mars has not even taken the stage yet. That is what makes this moment so exciting. RAYE has opened the door. The audience has stepped through. The tension is building. And the next chapter belongs to Bruno Mars. MetLife Stadium, get ready. The romantic tour continues. The atmosphere inside MetLife Stadium is continuing to build. And now the second East Rutherford show of Bruno Mars, the romantic tour, is moving deeper into the night. RAYE has already helped set the tone, giving the audience a powerful opening chapter before the main event. But for the thousands of fans who came here for Bruno Mars, the anticipation has always been about what happens next. This is the moment when a stadium concert begins to feel different. The lights around the venue seem brighter. The crowd becomes louder. Every movement near the main stage attracts attention. And every second that passes brings fans closer to the arrival of Bruno Mars. For anyone watching from outside the stadium, it can be difficult to understand just how intense the anticipation becomes inside a venue like this. But once you are surrounded by thousands of people who are waiting for the same artist, the atmosphere becomes almost physical. You can hear it. You can feel it. And you can see it spreading from one section of the stadium to another. Tonight, East Rutherford is once again becoming Bruno Mars territory. The second MetLife Stadium show carries its own energy, its own personality, and its own audience reaction. Even though fans know the headline performer is coming, there is still something unpredictable about waiting for the lights to drop. That is one of the great secrets of live music. You can know the set list. You can know the songs. You can know the production, and yet the moment still feels new, because it is happening in front of you. That is why fans continue to record these moments, share them online, and talk about them long after the concert ends. A Bruno Mars performance is not simply something people listen to. It is something they experience. And the romantic tour has been designed around that idea. From the opening atmosphere to the massive production, every element works toward creating a night that feels larger than the music itself. Tonight, RAYE has provided the opening spark. Now the stadium is waiting for the fire. And the name everyone keeps waiting to hear is Bruno Mars. There is a special kind of tension that exists in the minutes before a superstar enters the stage. The audience starts paying closer attention. Phones move upward. Fans begin looking toward the stage. The conversations become shorter. People who were sitting moments earlier begin standing. Then one person screams. Another section responds. And suddenly, the entire stadium starts to react before anything has even happened. That is the power of anticipation. And tonight, MetLife Stadium has plenty of it. The second show at this venue is also a reminder of just how massive the romantic tour has become. Bruno Mars has spent years developing a reputation as one of the strongest live entertainers of his generation. His performances are built around musicianship, choreography, visual production, charisma, and audience connection. But stadium shows create a different challenge. A performer is no longer playing to a small room. The artist has to connect with people sitting hundreds of feet away. That requires presence. It requires precision. And it requires the ability to make an enormous venue feel like one room. Bruno Mars has built his career around exactly that kind of connection. His songs have become part of the soundtrack of countless lives. And when those songs are performed live, fans bring their own memories with them. Maybe someone remembers hearing a Bruno Mars song during their first relationship. Maybe another fan grew up listening to his biggest hits. Maybe someone is attending their first concert tonight. Different memories, different stories. One stadium, one artist, one night. That is what makes these shows so meaningful. And as the night continues, that emotional connection becomes stronger. The audience is no longer simply waiting for a performer. They are waiting for a memory, a moment they can take home, a moment they can replay through a phone screen tomorrow morning, a moment they can tell their friends about. And maybe, if something unexpected happens during the show, a moment that becomes one of the defining memories of this stop on the romantic tour. That possibility is always there. Live music does not come with a guarantee. Every performance has small differences, a different crowd, a different reaction, a different atmosphere, a different emotional temperature. That is why two shows at the same stadium can never be exactly the same. The first MetLife Stadium performance has its own identity. The second show is creating another, and that is what fans are witnessing tonight. RAYE's opening performance has already given the audience a strong beginning. Now the transition toward Bruno Mars becomes the central storyline. The closer we get to the main performance, the more focused the crowd becomes. This is where the energy begins to compress. Everything feels quieter for a moment, then louder, then quiet again, until eventually the stage takes control. And when that happens, there is no mistaking what comes next. Bruno Mars. The lights. The band. The choreography. The first notes. The crowd reaction. All of it becomes one enormous moment. That is the payoff. But the journey toward that payoff is just as important. Because tonight is not only about the moment Bruno appears. It is about everything that happens before he arrives. RAYE's performance, the crowd entering the stadium, the conversations between fans, the anticipation, the lights, the countdown, the feeling that something enormous is about to happen. These are the details that turn a concert into a story. And right now, that story is unfolding at MetLife Stadium. East Rutherford has already seen the beginning. Now the audience is waiting for the next chapter. For Bruno Mars fans, the anticipation is especially intense because the romantic tour represents a major live era for the superstar. This is a tour built for big venues and huge audiences. And MetLife Stadium is exactly the kind of environment where Bruno's performance style can reach its full scale. The stage becomes enormous. The audience becomes part of the visual production. The sound travels through the entire stadium, and the smallest emotional moment can suddenly feel gigantic. That contrast is part of what makes Bruno Mars so effective as a live performer. He can make thousands of people feel connected at once. One song can turn into a massive sing-along. One dance sequence can make the entire field move. One emotional performance can suddenly quiet the entire stadium. And then, without warning, the energy can explode again. That unpredictability keeps fans engaged. It also explains why every Bruno Mars concert becomes a conversation. Fans compare performances. They discuss favorite moments. They debate set lists. They share clips. They talk about outfits, stage design, guest appearances, vocals, choreography, and crowd reactions. And tonight, RAYE is already part of that conversation. Her presence gives Day 46 another distinctive element. It also creates an interesting musical bridge between the opening performance and the headline show. Different artists, different sounds, different styles, but the same stage and the same audience. That is one of the most exciting aspects of major concert tours. You never know what combination of artists, Fans, atmosphere, and venue will create the most memorable moment. Tonight, that combination is happening in New Jersey. MetLife Stadium is packed with anticipation. RAYE has opened the night, and Bruno Mars is waiting in the wings. The closer we move toward the headline performance, the more difficult it becomes for the audience to stay calm. This is the point where every sound from backstage can trigger a reaction. Every lighting change can create speculation. Every movement on the stage can make thousands of phones rise. And then comes the moment. The lights go down. The crowd screams. The first visual appears. The music begins. And Bruno Mars takes control. That is what everyone came for. But before that happens, take a moment to appreciate the opening chapter. RAYE has helped turn the waiting period into part of the experience.